Next up, we have Fervent Flare from the Genshin Impact soundtrack. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician and composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here musically. So, if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever turn you use, like the video, share the video, comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, don't forget to join the Discord server, join the Patreon, subscribe to the gaming channel, how to request songs even not on the live stream, members getting early access to the content. I have a spiel for this and a bunch of other things later down this video, so stick around for that. Disclaimers showing on your screen right now, so go ahead and pause the video to read them in full. Otherwise, please be patient with me. I am acoustic and guitarded, so please keep that in mind. With that, let's do this. Fervent Flare, let's go. Okay, so we start with a very distant sounding guitar. It's going through, I think it's called a phaser effect. Basically, the volume is very much obscured. The guitar itself is very obfuscated, but you can very clearly hear. But you can kind of clearly hear the guitar doing its initial riff. A riff, of course, being a motif put through an ostinato that is then played on a guitar or bass or synth or keyboard or whatever other contemporary instruments we have for this. So, let me break this down, right? A motif being the smallest version of your musical idea, the seed, the essence from which everything else comes from. Then you have the ostinato. You put it through an ostinato. An ostinato means that you're doing the same, you're repeating the same thing over and over and over and over again with minimal to no change. And then, of course, you play it on the guitar as you are hearing it over here. We play it with the guitar. We're having a moment of, like, removing the filter. Let's see where this goes. Okay, so we bring in, of course, the full guitar riff this time around. We bring in the drums, and I love this kind of heavy metal drums that we get because we have the bass drum and the bass one-to-one completely locked in with the guitar. It's such a fun effect for this. Then we have what seems to be a synth and a second guitar playing that other melody, which I think that one has our initial motif. Motif being, again, the smallest version of your musical idea. Now, the difference between a riff and a motif. A motif is going to want to be the focal point, the absolute focus, the center stage, everything. Like, it's the diva that wants the attention all the time. However, a riff is more flexible in that way. You can put the riff in your background, in your accompaniment, and it can work well. A motif, however, not as fond of those ideas. So if you're not constantly giving attention to your motif, and you're not constantly putting in the spotlight and constantly developing it, the motif will ruin your music. It will backfire. It risks your music sounding incoherent. It will sound disjointed, and it will just risk just completely messing everything up. So we're seeing now a case of both of them working together nicely. The riff, however, does not have an issue being in the accompaniment, with the drawback of a riff that you can't develop a riff as easily as you can a motif. But then you don't really need to. So yeah, let's see where this goes. Nice. Ooh, some very nice. Okay, so we bring this back, and now we have, I think, a zitar in the background. We bring in a zitar over here. I think it's this one over here. A very cool Eastern instrument. By the way, non-traditional instruments we usually call world music instruments, as in world music, as in music from the rest of the world. So yeah, we're having this one now playing along, doing a doubling to that motif. Doubling is when you have more than one instrument doing the same thing at the same time. We're introducing a new variation of the riff. Let's see where this goes. Okay, so now we are having the guitar doing the work of both the riff and the motif. How are we doing this? With what I like to call an alternating pedal. Now, a pedal note or tone or note is basically a note or a tone that you just hold down for an arbitrary period of time. However, an alternating pedal is what I like to call what you do here with the guitar. Basically, what the guitar is doing over here is we're going back and forth between palm muted picking and regular picking. Now, how does this work? When you look at a guitar, over here, let me just bring an image of the electric guitar over here. You can see that we have the lower bridge over here where the strings end. We have the upper bridge here where the strings start. We have the fretboard. We have the strumming area, basically with all the pickups. And then, as I said, we have the lower bridge. So the way it works is that whenever you do palm muting, you will usually be having a guitar pick. Then you take the palm of the hand that you're strumming in and you press it against this point over here where the strings end, where the strings fold into, and then from there you strum or you pick the different strings. Now, usually this is something that we do with what we call open string. Open string means you're not pressing against any of the frets. So what you do is that you will have the pedal in the open string, palm muted, and then you release the palm muted, going for that regular picking while pressing the melody on any of the other ones. And what that does is it creates the alternating pedal. So how does the alternating pedal work? Let's say this note over here is the note that is the pedal, and basically we are having the other melody happening on top of that. We're having whatever melody we are doing on top of it, and whenever the melody is playing above, you stop the pedal note. You alternate between the pedal and the note that you are doing, giving you this really cool sense of basically doing two parts at the same time. So now we are having the guitar through this new riff, giving us the motif while it is being doubled by the zitar over here. Let's see where this goes. Nice, moving the, and we are also sequencing the motif over here, right? So sequencing, let me just put this here, sequencing being a way that you can develop your material in which you repeat a musical idea, often a melody, from a new starting point. So in this case, we are doing this kind of, that kind of thing. Let's say that we're starting over here. Let's say we're having this melody over here, and basically it means we're going to repeat the same idea from a different starting point. So we have, we're basically just moving around the same melodic idea, up or down, wherever we want, however we want, as long as it fits the purposes of the music. Let's see where this goes. Okay, so we bring in, this right here is djent. This is djent. Djent through and through. We are having this really cool breakdown of the drums and the guitar, giving us this super cool, very rhythmic experimentation, kind of like very experimental rhythm that we're having between the drums and the guitar, giving us this very nice, chunky kind of thing. You hate djent? No. Why would I? I don't hate djent. I just consider it to be one of the weaker genres out there because of the trap that they fall into, which is that they try to outdo their each thing that they do. Okay, when it comes to djent, many bands fall under the trap of just doing new material, new material, new material, new material, new material, new material. There is never revisiting what you're already done. That is one of the more common traps that people in djent fall for. And that is not conducive, because when you're making music, you want to keep a careful balance between what is familiar and what is new. Too much familiarity, too much repetition, you risk boring the listener, they tune out. Too much new material too quickly, you risk overwhelming the listener, they tune out. So I don't hate djent. I hate avant-garde from conservatories. That's different. So, so we're having this nice djenty sound, and in order to get away with all these odd rhythms, we bring in the zitar doing what sounds to be kind of a traditional Indian, like from the India melody. And usually India, these kinds of Eastern countries will have these very odd rhythms to them. So we add these two together. We add the djenty breakdown drums and guitar over here between the two, and we get this really, really cool drop breakdown to this. And speaking of bringing really, really cool things, the Patreon is now up. So, if you want to support this channel more than you already are, consider joining the Patreon today, patreon.com/JamesRBasterd. Even if you're not going to support monetarily, do consider joining the Patreon for the free tier, because this is where the non-gaming LFAs will go to. What do I mean by that? Anime, film, label music, maybe even classical music, who knows, what we usually wouldn't be able to do on the main channel. What we do on YouTube is inherently fair use, but that does not stop bad actors from abusing the system. So in order to not have to deal with that, then just gonna put it here. We're just gonna put it in the Patreon for everyone to see, and we're basically just, yeah, that's going to be free material, free content for everyone. There is going to be paywalled content for some of the higher tiers, which is going to include, of course, the music lessons video material that I have planned for this. There's a bunch of other stuff. Of course, higher tiers get more perks, as usual, the good old Patreon thing. So if you want to support this channel more than you already are by watching and subscribing and all that good stuff, consider joining the Patreon, consider supporting what we do over here. Thank you for those who have already joined, particularly Real Nemesis and French Guy, for your support. And yes, everybody else, join the Patreon today. Patreon.com/JamesRBasterd, linked in the description. Anyway, we bring this back to the thing here. Let's see where this breakdown goes. So you can hear how the odd time signatures are just going all over the place. The rhythms are extremely uneven. We're getting a lot of polyrhythms out of this. Polyrhythms. So the polyrhythm going between the guitar and the first guitar, and the drums and the first guitar, and the melody part of the guitar with the zitar. So a polyrhythm is rhythm against rhythm. You have multiple rhythms playing, and the clash of these rhythms is what gives them that cool sound. The simplest one to explain is a 3 versus 2 polyrhythm, where you have one part doing 2s, 1, 2, 1, 2, and the other one doing 3s. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Both together. So yeah, we're doing something far more complicated with this, because we're including odd time signatures, we're including a lot of very weird syncopations to this, but let's see where this goes. There you go, new version. So now we bring back that like filtered out guitar in the back. Now it's doing a higher version of the melody, and we are every once in a while just hitting ba-bang with the drums and the other guitar, reminding us that it is still there. Let's see where it goes. Welcome today. Next is going to be offline, yeah. Alright, we bring the guitar. And we bring this, like, this is very djent, like very, very much djent. We bring these very nice open chords. We slow down the drums to something more stable than before, and we bring in a guitar solo. So now we've had two things so far. We've had a breakdown, and we've had a guitar solo. Again, as I said, when you're making music, familiarity, repetition. There is one universal exception, no matter the style or genre, which is solos. And then metal, heavy metal, any subgenre of it has an additional one, which is breakdowns. Breakdowns, if you're not familiar with heavy metal, is basically dropping the beat for heavy metal. Now, you bring a solo or a breakdown, as long as it sounds cool enough and it fits enough, you can get away with almost anything, which means, yes, you still have to look out for the new material versus repetition versus familiarity, but it just becomes a little bit more lax. And what usually sets apart a guitar solo is that the guitar solo is not really going to have any of the pre-established melodies. Usually it's going to be fresh material, and basically it's just going to be there to either show off the instrument or to add some very, very fresh material. So let's see where this goes. Alright, we finished that solo. And we switch to another solo with a... This is lo-fi. We switch to some lo-fi. We're continuing that solo, but now we're using, I think, the Zetar for this instead. Let me just hear how it ends. Yeah, oh, it's the guitar doing a very cool. Oh, we do one last run. We end it like that with that last chord. And this is a leitmotif of another character in the trailer. Okay, so I was about to ask. So this is either another solo or it's a different motif. So we have a leitmotif to end it. We use a leitmotif over here. A leitmotif is a motif that references previous work. In this case, is somebody else's. Yeah, Torts, don't address it. We don't address that. Yeah, with stuff like that, just don't even address it. So, yeah, so with this case, we're using a leitmotif. We're using the theme of a different character. So a leitmotif is a motif that is used in a subsequent piece to reference back to the original. This is usually done by the same composers or the same rights holders. So in the case of Genshin over here, we have that kind of stuff. Now tonight we're not going to address it. So, we're doing that, and we're using a leitmotif. So, as I said, leitmotif is a motif that is reused in a subsequent work to reference back to the original. So, as we do over here, I don't know which character it is, but it's apparently another character in the trailer of this kind of thing, because apparently this is like a trailer music for that kind of stuff. And with that, there you have it. Fervent Flare from the Genshin Impact, the Stellar Moments Volume 4 soundtrack. That was a lot of fun. That was really good. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what's happened here, musically. So, if you're watching this on the YouTube video archive thing, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever you're going to use. Like the video, share it, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, don't forget to join the Discord server. That's where everything gets announced first, whether it's the streams going live, the videos going up, the channels, updates, projects, giveaways, everything gets announced there first. Of course, we have the community there. We hang out, we chat, we steal memes from other people's servers, claim them as our own, and where I host the Vintage Story community server. It used to be a Minecraft mod. Now it's its own standalone game. I love it. I prefer it. It's cheaper than Minecraft. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I just really love the game to the point that I built a PC just to host the server for this thing, right? Which is available to join via the Discord community server. So join it today, linked in the description. Linked in the description, join the Discord community today. Also share these videos with everybody that you know. Use the hype function on YouTube. We have a group on the Discord that coordinates for that, so linked in the description to help the channel grow. Members get early access to the content, schedule the videos for the week on Saturdays, and if you're a paid member on YouTube, regardless of your tier, you get access to the videos when I schedule them, at least for the LFAs, so become a member today. If you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 3.5 seconds, I'll link in the description down below. If you want to request a song and you're not in the live stream, check the main comment on this video. It has the instructions on what to do. If you want to catch the streams when they happen live, we aim from Monday through Friday, 6 p.m., 4 p.m. Central European time during the full-time experiment. We stream live on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick so that you can tune in from whichever platform you prefer. Again, 4 p.m. Central Europe during the full-time experiment. If you're not in Europe, do not worry. We have the full up-to-date streaming schedule showing in your local time zone in both Discord and Twitch, both linked down below. So, if you live in El Trapiche, and you're like, yeah, but what time is 4 p.m. in Central Europe, Hungary? I don't live there, do not worry. Just go to Discord or Twitch, both linked in the description, and they're both going to have this full streaming schedule showing in your local time zone, accounting for daylight savings if necessary. So, linked in the description. And subscribe to the gaming channel, follow the gaming channel, because of course I have a gaming channel. I'm on YouTube. What else could I possibly have? Games are a bastard. This is where I put the gaming after show recordings when they happen, recorded live during the main channel's after show. We play some video games on the later part of the stream, and then the recordings, the VODs go here. We've been playing through Limbus Company. I'm having such a good time with this game, dude. The story is insane, and I'm doing the best, worst voice acting you've never heard. And yes, every game we play on stream eventually ends up over here. So, subscribe to the channel, linked in the description, or search on YouTube. Same username as James R. Basterd. Just swap the J for a G, and you got it. And, yeah. There you have it. Fervent Flare, Genshin Impact. That was awesome, dude. Really good stuff, man. Really good stuff. But, yeah. Let's move on.